Fancy 720p 45 frames per second next generation game on PlayStation 5? Check Forspoken then. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I would like to talk about Forspoken. Now this game is coming out tomorrow, but some of the reviews are finally out, especially for PlayStation 5 version, because PC version is still a mystery. Because, well, publisher didn't really want to send any codes out. Well, that doesn't really bode well for this particular version, although I can't really say that PlayStation 5 version is perfect. Okay, so let's talk about performance, graphics, and that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'll be focusing on PlayStation 5 version because that's the only one we had some information on. And Digital Foundry got a code for PlayStation 5, they tested it, and unfortunately it looks like some of the tech issues that were in the demo for that game, which was released a couple of weeks ago, are still there. Now, a lot of people were hoping that things like drops in resolution down to 720p or frame rate issues would be ironed out, but looks like that didn't really materialize, right? So these drops in resolution and frame rate in performance mode are still there. Okay, so first off, there's a couple of different modes you can play in, like I think like 4K mode. I'm not really sure about the internal resolution because that's the output resolution. Because even the performance mode, like the one that drops to 720p, I think the output goal, the aim is to hit 1440p. So whatever the internal resolution is, and it may be anything between 720p and 1440p, the upscaler, the FSR, I think is in works there. It upscales the graphics to, that 1440p goal, right? Resolution target. But clearly, if you've got a low internal resolution, that doesn't really look good. And Digital Foundry did confirm those internal resolution numbers, and also they did say that in certain locations the frame rate struggles a lot. Like the frame rate may drop down to like 45 frames per second, 44 sometimes. So that's not really impressive, I must say. And yes, there's some other modes you can play at target 4K, dynamic 4K at 30 frames per second, even with ray tracing, and they offer this 120 hertz mode, not 120 frames per second mode, but hertz mode. So if you've got a TV that supports 120 hertz, you can play with frame rate up to like 40 frames per second. So obviously that makes the game a little bit smoother. So don't get me wrong, that's actually a nice way of squeezing a little bit more performance from these games. And I guess, and even Digital Foundry, John from Digital Foundry did say that the best way to play this game, the best mode to play this game is actually, I think it's called this must be the ray tracing mode that runs in 40 frames per second, right? So it offers good graphics, okay resolution. It might be the dynamic 4K, and yeah, performance, I guess, 40 frames per second, but that's only for basically people with TVs or monitors. HDMI 2.1 supported, that offers 120 hertz modes, right? Refresh rate basically, but that doesn't mean that the game runs at 120 frames, just 40. So it is a little bit disappointing, and I'm still lacking more information on how this version will compare to PC, just to have more understanding of whether that's just optimization issues on this particular platform, or is there a more, major issue with this game engine or whatever, right? And I'm not trying to say that PlayStation 5 is crap and that kind of stuff, because we've seen some pretty amazing looking games on PlayStation 5 running at 1440p 60 frames per second, no problem, even open world like Spider-Man, Miles Morales, etc, etc. I mean, yes, these were not a proper next-gen game, and this one is, and that's why I'm a bit surprised that this game, which is not held back by PlayStation 4 or like these kind of even PC, to be honest with you, because some people say, oh, it's PC fault because, you know, PC has to run on some old hardware. Well, not really, because the minimum requirements for this game on PC are quite high as well. So I think the minimum requirement is really literally I think like GTX 1070 or 1080 Ti or something like that. So very close to what PlayStation 5 has to offer in terms of like raw GPU power, right? So that's kind of weird. But listen, it is still a bit disappointing to see that, you know, one of these proper next-gen games finally comes out, and it well, technically it's disappointing. I don't want to talk about the quality of the game, like gameplay and story and whatever, right? Some people, you know, I've seen their reviews. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's like, hey, you know, it's not like a win-win situation. It's like with many games these days, you know, some people, you know, enjoy some titles while others hate it, right? That was the case with many titles before. So I'm not really worried about the Metacritic side of things and stuff. I'm more interested in the technical aspect of it, because another thing I want to mention is that Forspoken on PC is really the first game to use direct storage, right? I did talk about it a couple of days ago. And even though it's direct storage 1.0, so it uses only the faster access to SSD and that kind of stuff, so they still not using the texture decompression on the GPU, which would probably help with the CPU performance big time. But it is what it is. But still, that's the very first game to use, commercial game, and not just a demo, that uses direct storage, and that's a big thing. So listen, I'm very curious to see the PC reviews and PC benchmarks probably tomorrow, because the game is coming out tomorrow, so everyone will have access to it, not only reviewers. And like I said, PC reviewers didn't get any code, so that's kind of weird. Oh, listen, I'm not trying to say that PC version is crap. It is a bit worrying, but on the other hand, it may be the case that maybe they are trying to sell as many PlayStation versions, and they want to keep the conversation around this game around PlayStation rather than PC, I guess. So maybe that's what it's all about. But anyway, it looks like a lot of outlets did get PlayStation 5 version, no problem. So I don't really know what's going on with the PC version, right? Anyway, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and hit the like button. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, I will see you all in the next one. Take care.